Hello, welcome to Breakfast Central. On a Thursday, I am Gbenga Aborowa. That's the program where we bring you the best of news and insightful conversations. It's been a very packed week and we're approaching at the end of the week, which makes me really sad. One of the things I regret in life is that I don't get to work and see these amazing people for 7 days. But I understand, even God rest them.
You're welcome to the show.
It's my perspective. Don't misconstrue me, or what's that word?
Sorry, I will not misconstrue you.
What's the word the chief farmer of Niger State used?
I forgot to know.
He said it was misconstrued.
Yes. He wants media, especially like the media. We shouldn't. I think we shouldn't blow things out of proportion.
You know why I'm happy this morning? I'm going to clap
because
we're going to X-ray it. So X-ray where the misconstrue in statements came from.
All right, but before we get into explaining the misconstruction of the Niger State Governor's statement, I want to say welcome and officially introduce ourselves again for those who are watching for the very first time. If this is your first time watching Breakfast Central, you're very welcome. First timers are welcome. The ushers will give you snacks. Please stay behind after so that we can get to know you better. And whilst there's a lot of decamping happening, people moving from one political party to another, we're assuring you we're not porting or decamping from Breakfast Central. We're here to bring you the latest in the world of politics and the economy. I am Olive Emodi.
And I'm Joe Hansen, welcoming you to today's edition on Breakfast Central. Oliver said it quite right in what took place yesterday was a shocker for some people. But then again, it's what we do every now and then. Our job is simply to just report the happenings, and it's no way surprising to see that people are moving from one place to the other. It's a case of hopping from one spot and moving to another place just to ensure something.
Anywhere the left is.
Yes, we'll get to find out.
Behind it, but we'll get there in our conversations.
All right, so maybe we should start with Niger State Governor. There are two videos. We played one yesterday, and we're probably going to play that one first, so that you can see, in case you haven't seen the video, so that we understand where exactly did the misconstruction come from, and then we'll play the update. So yesterday we took the video of the Niger State Governor talking about the fight against insecurity and criminality in Niger State, and he particularly tasked security operatives to arrest any young person they saw with dreads. Okay, maybe I'm misconstruing, just so that I do not misconstrue his statement. Let's take a look at the video.
Security is everybody's business. I don't want to hear any news about that. Nobody is above the law. And the primary responsibility of government is to provide for the security and lives of the citizens. I will lead the operation. I will follow each street of Mina, will fish them out, and we are going to make sure we deal with them accordingly.
So these are some of the things he said. He went further to say that buildings where they find people who are alleged criminals should be demolished. And yesterday on the show, we started the conversation criticizing the statement, saying that it was unconstitutional, those statements, because he's infringing on their right to freedom of expression. And it's unconstitutional. That's no way to handle crime, especially because I did say that there were those whose identity, their spirituality is largely linked to their hair, the dreadlocks, and that the world is moving on. So I know we're not the only ones who talked about this. He gathered a lot of backlash on social media. So he's doubled back on his statements. There's another video. Let's take a look.
The Riot Act on hooliganism, and people misconstrued our words for people who have dreadlocks. We don't have problem with dreadlocks, but we have problem with the cult here with dreadlocks. So if you have dreadlocks and you have business, please come to Niger State. All that is a media propaganda. We are not driving dreadlocks from Niger State. We are only driving that cult that is becoming a menace in Niger State. Thank you, and God.
So zero tolerance to rascality in Mina. Anybody that you find with a barber or dreadlock, arrest him, barb his hair, and find him. nobody should carry any kind of health record again inside Mina. I have given you marching order, the security agencies.
I don't understand. So where's the misconstruction there? Where's the media propaganda? Something as simple as I erred in the statements that I made. I apologize and I take it back. Shikina,
exactly.
why do we have this whole thing
you
of
always have to blame other people?
Why? I don't understand
Take
it.
responsibility.
I applaud him for doubling, going back on what he said, but there are ways in which you go. Well, it wasn't a propaganda. The statement was clear. You said anybody they see with dreadlocks should be arrested, and they should baba the hair. So I don't understand.
I mean, he said in clear terms. He didn't even give conditions. Anybody.
He did not say anybody that is in court. And how do you even know someone that is in court? How do you see somebody with their hair and then you assess? It's just like somebody looking at me and saying, from the way you dress, I think you might be a banker. Or you might be a, you can't make this assessment.
I'm just looking at Joe. I think Joe, maybe he's a shotter journalist. And that's why Joe is angry. Joe has been shaking his head like Anita Bacha in an India movie when we're growing up. So please, you have the floor.
Gbenga, I must tell you that I'm surprised, but I'm not really surprised, I mean, with jokes apart, like we say, whenever we start wake-up conversations, we use it to, lighten the mood, get ourselves together, and going because of the stories you hear. Sometimes can be very depressing. But this is one story I think our colleagues should rally round and possibly educate the governor.
He also needs to apologize.
Yes, let's educate.
Propaganda.
And I think Governor Umar, if you are watching, I think you need to put out an apology to members of the press. Seriously, you need to do another video and apologize, because you said something. You said media propaganda. Propaganda.
Well, maybe it wasn't just targeting the press.
It's a strong word.
So in terms of media propaganda,
Olive. When we allow certain things slide, it now looks like it's the norm.
True.
We shouldn't allow this slide, especially for the fourth realm. We shouldn't allow it slide. We should help them by reminding them that we are very important in any governmental administration, and therefore, and it's also going to help him to sit up next time. You will no longer come out in public where you have cameras and people and you just say anything you want to say.
Yes.
And that's why I was trying to get a few persons to join the show this morning. And that's why, if you look at leaders in positions, I'm going to mention CEOs in companies. I'm going to mention the likes of Tony Elumelu, even as far as Dangote and so on. Before they come out to speak, they have professional communication experts.
I was going to go back to that because you mentioned that yesterday.
Yes, they will sit down and say, okay, can we see your script? They will edit. I've been privileged to do that once. I've been privileged to train once. When I say once, like train, a few persons, a few CEOs, and they ask questions. And they say, okay, can I say this? No, you can't say that. However, if you need to pass a message out, your script has to be properly edited. And you'll be warned that please be careful. Do not say this. Now, there are also statements that the popular quote that was mentioned or statement that was made during the inauguration of President Bola Tinubu that subsidy is gone, it was not on the script.
Yeah.
Do you get what that can lead to? And we know what happened. Immediately that statement was made, what happened to the filling stations? Today, we're still feeling the impacts, the prices and so on.
I mean, just to add to what you said, communication is important. People who hold certain offices need to understand that the weight that their words carry, that they make a slight, seemingly random comment or pronouncement, and it becomes something that is enforceable. People act on that. But also, just to say that we need to step back from the cultural way of handling crisis. In Nigerian culture, when we're
able to apologize.
Exactly. When you were younger, a number of people in our generation will say, when our parents have done something they shouldn't do, and they've offended the kids, they'll now go, what you eat? It's right.
Exactly.
Say, look, I did this and I shouldn't have done it, and I'm sorry. It's okay to take accountability. That's a great hallmark.
Period.
We are glad that he's clarified that.
You guys have said it all. But my takeaway from this is that the Rastafarians can now return to...
Exactly, I was going to say the lifestyle.
Can return to Zion and Babylon.
But then again, in as much as we're laughing at this, Governor, please, I think you need to put out another video and apologize appropriately.
Yeah, I
We
think that
appreciate the fact
really
that you did not
asking for
allow
too much.
24 hours to pass before you came out to say
Because
this.
the backlash was a lot.
Yeah, but please don't blame the media. Don't.
I mean,
don't.
Do you know what governors
Don't blame the media for your
chief
errors.
executives of the state, there's a lot of ego
You could tell.
behind it. So not everyone is Lagos State governor.
You could tell.
The Lagos State governor apologized after
Just
the
apologize.
traffic debacle of a few weeks ago.
Just apologize.
The good thing is I'm glad that it's been sorted, it's been clarified, and I'm hoping that the Nigerian police and all other security operatives can take note that dreads is not an indication of a commission of criminality or thuggery in any way, shape, or form.
All right.
Let's move to our other story now.
Let's move to our next story. A video did circulate yesterday on Threads. I don't know if it was on X. And we quickly latched on it. It was about the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also heard he had met with security operatives, security chiefs, to talk about and find lasting solution to Nigeria's insecurity challenges. In that video, a journalist was seen asking him questions about the situation in River State and the sole administrator. And the president went ahead to say that he was going to give the FCT Minister a timeline to ensure he sorts or solves the problem. If he doesn't, then of course he's going to take his own action. Exactly what he said. But let's take a look at that video, and then we'll come back and see what this means, especially for the people of River State, and then a little chit chat on the sole administrator's role as well. Stay with us. Take a look.
We've concentrated on pulling Nigeria from the boot trap of depression, and we understand the sovereignty of the country. You don't need additional distraction to be able to concentrate on building a new economy for the people, an inclusive one for that matter. And the judgment of the Supreme Court put a stop to shenanigans, put a stop to innuendos, put a stop to lies of trial in the media and public place. The court has demonstrated in this visible commitment to rule of law and humanity, and their commitment to do justice for all Nigerians, regardless of ethnic, religious, or any other biases.
All right, so that video you saw, the extension also went ahead to mention, of course, in the article there, that President Tinubu has spoken to Wike, the FCT Minister, and told him to go ahead and sue for peace. Many have celebrated that story. For us down here, we think that it is a good response, Gbenga and Olive, to what Nigerians have been asking for. You know, after that live broadcast, a lot of us have asked, will the president speak again? Is he going to address the public? Is he going to talk about the rivers issue? In that video, he said, one, that the Supreme Court has put a stop to any shenanigans, any innuendo, or any issue. Number two, I also made mention that it's high time that all these things are addressed, so that they would find a lasting solution. One of the things he said, of course, which that video did not capture, was the fact that many journalists have said that further in that conversation, it was said that he has told the FCT Minister to go ahead and ensure that everything is sorted out.
Right there in his presence.
Yes. Yeah. And I think for me, when I saw this video, I first of all sat down and said, okay, and then looked at the story and I said, okay, something we can talk about on Wake Up Conversations in the sense I think it's making a headway.
It's a step in the right direction. Quite presidential.
He has finally spoken as well about it. And I think all the analysts who have been asking and calling for the president to equally speak again, I think he has been able to...
In all fairness, just to go back to you saying that analysts and people have been calling for the president to speak again. When the president spoke the first time, people were not kind to him. They were asking, who asked you? Why are you involving yourself as a president? Why are you involving yourself in state matters? So I think that those who may have criticized the fact that he didn't step in, right? I don't understand the premise for the criticism, because he did step in the first time and he was largely criticized for stepping in. So it's almost like you do, you are done. You don't, you're done. I
agree. So for those who are wondering, will the FCT Minister be suspended? Well, the answer to that question is no. Is no. I would happily tell you it's going to be no.
Tell us why.
He will not be suspended.
Same, I would put a wager on that.
This is where her analysis come in. I would tell you categorically he would not be suspended. Wike would not be suspended. Rather, I think
there will
be a middle ground.
Somebody would move to.
You think he will move today?
I didn't mention his name.
Politics is like football. Anything can happen.
We get to find out who the person is.
Well, so far, at least reports have it that Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, former Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, and who is, was a vice presidential candidate for People's Democratic Party at the last election, is now standing on the mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, politics, elections in Nigeria, really, like I said, politics is like football. Anything can happen.
Termed it survival, but we'll get into the conversation proper. Yeah. And do we have time for last?
Yes. Let's take the last one. Take us to Abia State.
Yes, jubilating. Just yesterday on Which Way Nigeria, I did a piece on lack of street lights in Lagos, and it's almost like the Abia State people were listening. They said, "You guys call yourselves the center of excellence. You lack street lights, but look at us." So let's take a look at that video.
They not like us. They not like us.
Anyway, we have that video. Let's put it up, and you see.
Years. Street light. Street light. Street light in Port Harcourt Road. People are very, very excited. Enjoyment. 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 Very long. Very long. People are very, 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 very happy.
So kudos to Governor Alex Otti for making people in Abia State very happy. Enjoyment. They enjoy
enjoyment with the pathway.
Enjoying is wounding them, and the Goshen's are craving for this sort of enjoyment. We used to enjoy like this in the past. I remember Light of Lagos project under Governor Ambode, but what we have now seems like past glory, and the new guys are enjoying in Abia State. Enjoyment.
The rest of the country be like, God, where?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's important to give credit where credit is due. Governor Alex Otti has been, apart from the Labour Party politics, internal drama, the people of Abia State, the reports that you would often get would be that he's doing a great job. So kudos to him. Congratulations to the people of Abia State. We want to see this replicated in different parts of the country, where we're seeing, because the truth is, it might sound like it's fickle, but it's not. Street lights would solve a lot of problems for us. People would feel safer at night because, unfortunately, I mean, in places like Lagos, for example, where you have to travel from the mainland to the island for work and back to the mainland, and we have to take long commutes. You want to feel safe whilst moving on the road. It might not completely eradicate crime, but it will greatly reduce it, because people will need a lot of guts, really, to be able to operate when everywhere is properly lit up. That's one. Then two, the incidences of accidents will be reduced, because people can see roads ahead. People can see if there's a speed bump, if there's a pothole. Hopefully we won't get to the same potholes. And then everybody doesn't have to turn on their full lights, because you're driving at night, your full light is on. The person in front coming on the other side, their full light is on. You can't see, you run into each other. It's just really a crazy situation. But we look forward to seeing it.
I have a message for the young men that are drinking there. Please, you can move to the side of the road next time. You're quite literally on the road, and it could lead to, imagine there was an accident.
I don't really understand. So for me, I mean, I don't know. I'm indifferent about this.
About them sitting on the road.
I'm indifferent.
No. About the light or the guys sitting on the road.
Yeah, about the light. I'm indifferent.
Tell us why.
Wow, these guys are really enjoying.
So you're indifferent because
of beverage.
Gbenga, I'm indifferent because I think we have been
conditioned to celebrate mediocrity.
We've been locked up with physical,
mentally,
which of course is a current, but we've been mostly locked up with mental, and I would want to add spiritual chains.
The bar is so low.
So much that the bar is so low that street light
You're right.
is now being celebrated.
Very humbling.
When there's a government, what is the role of the government? Is it not to provide these things? So street light is now saying enjoyment, enjoyment.
So
what if the same government now decides to give you clean water, transportation, everything? What will happen?
Quality health.
So whilst I
Quality
see where you're coming, Joe,
education.
where you're coming from, because I mean, oftentimes we hear people say we are applauding them for the barest minimum, for doing the basics and doing the things that they should do. But I hold a different perspective. The same way that you have a family system, you do things for your children. It's your responsibility to pay their fees. But when you do, and they come to you and say, "Daddy, thank you," right? It's a sign of appreciation. So for me, it's not necessarily because I think that, oh, we're thanking them for the barest minimum. The way that I see it is, we call out bad behavior. Yes, we've fallen below the bar. Our expectation is below the bar. So we call out bad behavior. So when somebody is doing what they should do, regardless of how little it is, it's important to
in the midst of many people,
so it's not like we're always flogging.
And I also want to put it to you, Joe Hansen,
I think we're
that Rome was not built in a day. If Rome was built in a day, we would not be hiring high-tech or Julius Berger. We would be hiring Roman engineers.
Wow.
Well,
and it's on that note.
I still don't agree.
We drop the mic.
I still don't agree.
But we should ask you what you think to our viewers. You can tweet at us individually and let us know whose argument you align with. Joe thinks that we should not be celebrating something
my
as
analogy
small.
would be your children gave you money. Your children gave you money to use it to take care of them. And you used it. They will come back and say, "Oh, thank you for using it."
It's not really, it's saying, "Oh, well done. I saw that you used the money for what I asked you to do."
Thank you,
well
no
done.
celebration.
Thank you,
I've
whatever.
changed my position. I agree with Joe.
Do you understand?
So let's
it's taxpayers' money. That's what I'm saying. In other words, it's taxpayers' money.
But what we are not saying, we're not being like, "Oh, thank you so much, oh, we appreciate." It's just
That's
like,
what they're doing now. With all those
I'm talking about
enjoyment.
us. I'm talking about us saying, "Oh, well done." You know, it's good to point that out. The same way we call out bad behavior, it's important. It's a carrot and stick approach. You reward good behavior, you punish bad behavior.
It's enjoyment.
You know, name and shame.
I can't wait to celebrate it in Lagos, though, because we're domiciled in Lagos.
Gbenga,
I can't wait for my own enjoyment.
Anyway, let us know what you think. Tweet at us individually or at News Central TV to see, do you think that we're celebrating the barest minimum, that our standards have become so low and we shouldn't applaud these governors when they do the barest minimum, such as street light? Or do you think that there's really nothing there in the same way that we call out bad behavior? We should applaud people who do what they're meant to do. Let us know at News Central TV on X. But now let's share with you what's happening today on Breakfast Central.